You started tracking your calories because you wanted to feel more in control and get better results. And for a while, the numbers made sense and calorie counting was working for you. And what I want to talk about today is what happens after that. You might be still doing calorie counting and it might be working for you, but at what cost? And this is something that's not being talked about enough, not in fitness circles, not in anywhere really. And it took me 10 years to see it. And before I go any further, I want to address one thing. Calories count, okay? I'm not denying that. But there is a cost and it's often glossed over. And the thing that made me realize was not a decision or some profound realization. It was getting ill one day. I had a virus and I lost my appetite. And I was sitting on the sofa in the evening and I realized how life could be different when you didn't have that food noise and that need to binge. This was my behavior in the evening. It was this emotional eating where I just sit down and eat tons of food because I could log it, because I could count it in the app. So I will come back to this in a little bit. I started counting calories in the way that a lot of men in my position do. I wanted to have the body, I wanted to look lean and fit. And I knew that a calorie deficit was the mechanism, right? Calories in, calories out. And I wanted something that I could measure, something concrete. It was analytical and it kind of worked with my mind. It made me feel secure around the result that I was getting. And it worked. I want to be clear about that. I got the body I wanted. I trusted the numbers and they did what they were supposed to do. And this is a really important thing about something that gives you a result. You then defend it with your life, right? Because why not? It's hard to argue with it. I wanted the body, I did the calorie counting, and I got that. So like, why would I stop? Why would I even question it? What I did know at the time was that the numbers were never as accurate as they looked. So food labels can have a 20% error margin. The MyFitnessPal database is full of user entries which are incorrect. Restaurant meals are often a guess. And so it's hard to know exactly how many calories you are getting. Basically, the precision and tracking is real, but the accuracy is definitely not. But this is an important point to hold on to. Two different things. I did this and got the result. So what is that actually saying? It shows that you don't have to be so precise to get the body you want. That's really important to understand. But also, some people are calorie counting and tracking and don't get the body they want. And they think they're eating X calories, but it's actually Y because of the variance, the margin error, and the user entry errors in the MyFitnessPal database. But here's the thing that nobody talks about, and it's what was happening up here while I was doing all this tracking and counting and logging of my calories. My thoughts, my attention, my focus has started to change. So not just at meal times throughout my day. I used to think, oh, I'm feeling hungry, it's time to eat. Eat the meal, think about like if I enjoyed it or not, and even tuned into like how I felt afterwards, or am I full, and then move on with my day, whatever I was doing. That was replaced by a single question. How many calories do I have for this meal? Lunchtime, for example. It would come around, and whether I was hungry or not, I would think it's time to eat. I would look at my app, I would decide how many calories and make a meal based on those numbers, not on how I was feeling and not on whether I wanted that particular food. Yes, of course I chose it, but it was orientated towards those numbers. And if any of this is starting to sound familiar, there's a free assessment in the description below. It takes about a minute and it tells you your specific patterns around food, not generic ones. And it's a good starting place if you want to improve your relationship with food. It's worth doing before the end of this video. Something to think about, when the numbers become the main thing, everything around them quietly starts to change. You stop eating what you enjoy and start eating what fits. Not deliberately, it just happens. The food with known numbers just feels easier. Same meals, same combinations, same routine. And not because you prefer them, just because trying something different requires recalculating, thinking more, and that just takes effort. And it's just easier in life not to do that. So this is what happened to my diet. The food choices narrowed without me really choosing to. The same breakfasts, similar lunches, similar dinners. And I told myself I was being consistent. What I was actually doing was trying to reduce the cognitive load. My brain was doing that work, reduce the thinking. And food stopped being food, it became data, it became numbers. And this is where the understanding gets important. The app starts being louder than your own mind. What do I mean by that? I had 50 calories left to eat one evening. I wasn't hungry, but the app said I had them. And that food noise started. The self-talk started. Well, I need those calories. And so I didn't decide that. The app decided for me. It made it so hard not to think about that I got up, I made some oats, 50 calories of oats only, ate them, bland, nothing exciting, just to stop that chatter, that food noise, that pressure from the numbers. So the app decided for me. It wasn't me anymore. You're outsourcing your decisions. And yeah, at the time you tell yourself it's fine because you're getting the result you wanted. But slowly over time, you're losing the connection with your body, those hunger signals, and losing the connection with your mind, the ability to make decisions for yourself. And you might be still saying, I'm okay, I'm happy with that. But I want to explain now why it's not. What happens when the app isn't there to support you, the MyFitnessPal app or whatever app you're using? When the app is gone and your signals are gone from your body, that's where the problem is exposed. The clearest way I can explain this is through one specific evening I had. I had made my meal, I had portioned it out onto the plate, and I went to log it in the MyFitnessPal app, but the app didn't load. I spent about 5 minutes closing it and trying to get it to load properly, but it just didn't load. And I couldn't eat my dinner. I didn't feel comfortable. I felt anxiety around not having it logged before I ate it. So what did I do? I put my meal down, I went into my office, turned on my PC, loaded up the MyFitnessPal website, found it was working, logged it all there. Spent about 5 minutes, 10 minutes doing that. Came back, had to warm my dinner up, sat down, continued with my evening. What would I have done if the MyFitnessPal website hadn't worked either? I knew how many calories were in it, roughly anyway. I'd had a similar meal before. I could have just eaten it and just got on with my evening. So sit with that for a second. Without the app, I couldn't eat anymore. It was my decisions. And again, that just sounds ridiculous, right? It's just strange. And thinking about it, there's a simple way to test this for yourself. A tool that you use in your day, whatever it's for, when it's taken away, it should cause a mild inconvenience. If it causes anxiety, like this did for me, then that's where it's become a problem. And a similar thing happened when I would eat out, when there was no real calories to follow, no way to track it properly. I had no internal sense of when to stop. So often I would just say, well, it's a meal out, so I'm not going to track. But because I didn't have the sense of this is enough, I would just eat and eat and eat, especially with all-you-can-eat restaurants, which I liked at the time. And what it meant was that I was just giving myself permission to completely switch off from this food noise, which I didn't really realize was there the rest of the time. And without that, I was just out of control. Again, because I had no signals from my body, which were telling me, oh, this is enough, or do you feel satisfied? Are you enjoying the food even? Or is it just endless food and trying to just, have some time where I can eat without thinking about the numbers? And anyone from the outside might have kind of labeled it as a cheat meal, but it was far from that. This was the result of endless tracking of calories and what happens when you don't have the app to support it. No hunger signals, no proper thoughts or decisions around the food. And it was not just meals out either. I remember times when I'd gone out for a drink with friends and I knew, or the app told me, that I had calories left over. And at some point in the night, that draw to eat those calories became stronger than the desire to be with my friends. And I just wanted to leave. And remember, I didn't need those calories. I wasn't hungry, but there was that pressure to eat them. And at the time, I didn't really have words or language for it to understand what was happening. I just felt like I needed to go home and eat. It was only later down the line that I realized this was an actual problem. Stay with me on this, because this is the understanding that took me so long to realize. The overeating at meals out was not a willpower problem. It was caused by the tracking of calories, the calorie counting. And the tighter and more precision I had with my tracking, the worse the problem got. And here's the thing that runs alongside all this. Food was on my mind constantly, and not because I was obsessed with eating, but because the monitoring never stopped. The calculating, the planning, the checking, it was always there in the background of everything. During my day, with friends, at meetings, it never stopped. And this is so tiring. And for most people, including myself, I didn't realize it was there anymore. I tuned out of it. I didn't realize how much energy it was taking until it stopped. And the obvious answer at this point is, well, Harry, if it was causing you so many problems, why did you not just stop? And I did try multiple times. What I found was stopping produced real discomfort, not just a mild inconvenience, something closer to anxiety. When the numbers were gone, my mind kept reaching back for them. Every meal felt uncertain, and it was just worse even. The calorie counting had been making my decisions for me for so long that I just couldn't do it anymore. And my mind was trying to pull me back to it. And couple that with the justification as well. It gave me the body I wanted. So why stop if it's got a benefit? And most men that hit this point conclude that they can't stop. The calorie tracking is just what they need, and without it, they just lose control. So they continue. And this is understandable, but it's backwards. That anxiety you get when you do stop isn't proof that you need it. It's proof that you've been doing so long that it's become a problem. Think of it this way. If you've been walking with a stick for years and your leg has now healed, when you take away that stick, there's instability in your legs. And that's not proof that you've always needed the stick and you still do. That's proof that your muscles haven't been doing the work. The capacity is still there. You just haven't been using them. Your hunger signals are still there. Your ability to eat based on your own decisions are still there. You've just been using the crutch, the app for so long that you don't trust yourself anymore. You don't feel like yourself is a reliable way to get the result you want, especially if before you were calorie counting, you were overweight or you didn't have the body you wanted. You justify and you link the calorie counting to the result that you have. The point is, these things were there before with your food, and they can and they do come back. Just like taking away the stick, your muscles just have to regain stability around the walking. The turning point for me, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I was ill one day. I was actually sitting on this sofa here, and that evening I just didn't have the food noise. I didn't sit down and want to eat. I was engaged in watching the TV, and there wasn't the draw to food. There wasn't the self-talk around get up, eat that final 50 calories in the app, or however many it was. And that just gave me a realization of, oh my God, like what have I been missing? This is the other side of life. And that might sound dramatic, but for me, it was very impactful. That background noise was gone. I didn't realize how much of an effect it was having on me. And suddenly, for some reason, the virus had cut off my appetite and my food noise, a bit like Ozempic. I realized this was how I was before and how I could be in the future. This finally made me question the fitness journey I was on. Yes, I had achieved the body, but what life had I created by doing that? This was not healthy. It was not mentally healthy. It was taking away from other areas of my life. The energy it zapped from that background noise was stopping me achieving things. It was stopping me being present. It was stopping me get a relationship. It was stopping me interact with people in a normal way. And I want to tell you now, solving this does not mean giving up on the body. It just means taking a different approach entirely, changing your mindset around how you need to eat and exercise even as well to get the life that you want. And the first thing that happens when you move away from tracking is uncertainty. And that is completely normal. You've been relying on external thing, the app, to control your eating for you, to outsource your decisions. And now it's coming back into you. You have to start making those. You have to start feeling safe around them. And that does take time. And that new way of eating is not a new diet, a new way of tracking or measuring your food with apps, numbers, points, whatever it might be. It's shifting to the idea that precision is not necessary. Like I said in the beginning, there's 20% error probably anyway. And so being able to let go of precision is the first step to solving this. And your mind is very powerful. It will resist change. It tries to maintain the status quo. But you know what this is costing you. So what did I do? I started using visual references for my meals. This is how much a meal should look like. This is how much a portion of protein, a portion of carbs, a portion of fats, a portion of vegetables looks like on a plate. And it doesn't matter if it's not to the gram, because again, there's error anyway. And over time, I used my body as feedback. Did I put on weight? Did I put on muscle? Did I lose weight? Did I lose muscle? And very quickly, I found a way to feel comfortable with doing that, and also comfortable that I maintained my body. Nothing changed when I changed the way that I measured food. And that made me feel safer in the decision. It made me trust myself more. And also that realization that there is another way. And most of all, that noise stopped. And the result of this was like nothing short of drastic. That sounds over the top, but you will know what I mean if you connect with this enough and understand the problem with it. Stuff like being able to sit through your day without that constant planning, thinking, calculating, being able to sit and have a meal without needing to log it or think, how many calories do I have left? Oh, there's 20 calories left in my day, and not being able to relax until you've had those. And just to prove my point, I've not counted calories now for 5 years or more, and this is how my body looks now. You can see my microphone there. It's still very lean, and I'm happy with my body. Yeah, maybe like it was a few grams or like half a kilogram lighter before because I had the precision and control, but that just wasn't worth it. I'm happy now. I can live life in a much fuller and like, it's so hard to put it into words sometimes, but I'm just like, it's so much better. And I'm so grateful that I realized it was a problem and I found a better way. So one thing I really want to emphasize is that most people that go into calorie counting want a better body. Why? Because they don't feel happy. They have this talk about themselves. But in doing so, you create a new problem. You create talk around the food instead. You often create emotional eating like I did, which causes a whole new problem. And it's justified because I got the body. But you just replace one problem with another. And often with calorie counting, the tighter the rules and the more precision, the harder the fall. And if you want to understand more about that, this next video explains in detail. Oh, and if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe.